Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. It is Bruce Jordan, the Michael Jordan Hotels. Ryan Bosch is in the house, and today we're going to be talking about mezzanine financing and how it can benefit your hotel and your property. How are we doing today?
Doing well, Bruce. Thanks for having me.
You know, my number one question is, how did you get started in this business?
How did I get started in this business? Oh, if we're going to go down memory lane, two buddies of mine that started Areva Capital in 2012. We're looking to grow the platform, brought me in as a partner in 2016, taught me the business, and, we've grown by 10x since then.
Nice. Now,
It's a Reader's Digest version.
Reader's Digest, that works. Yeah. Now, I heard a lot, like this is the buzzword right now when it comes to finance and mezzanine finance. What is it? What is mezzanine finance?
So when you think of mezzanine financing, I'll try to explain this in the simplest terms possible. You go to your bank for a loan, and your bank might max out on leverage. Mm-hmm. So the bank might lend, if you're buying a hotel, 65% of that, of the value of the acquisition. If you're looking for more leverage beyond what the bank would typically offer, that's when you enter the world of mezzanine financing. Mm-hmm. And you'd have a secondary loan that sits behind the senior loan from the bank. To get that additional leverage.
Okay. Now, step by step, maybe 5 steps. What are 5 things someone have to do to qualify for this type of finance?
Well, I think the first thing is, mezzanine financing, we don't really see on small balance deals. Typically when we're doing mezzanine financing, it's on more institutional, large check size transactions. So the market for it really starts at mezzanine loans of $10 million and above.
Okay, $10 million and above.
For just the mezzanine loan. But I'd say the first step, from a borrower standpoint is, why are we trying to get a mezzanine loan? It typically just comes down to we need more leverage on the asset. Mezzanine's one of a variety of methods you could utilize to get that additional leverage. The second, and I'd say most important thing is, does the deal support that much leverage, right? If you look at, when property investments go bad, it's typically because they're over levered on their basis. So from an underwriting standpoint, let's say you're buying a non-performing hotel, going to do a big renovation, turnaround story. It's, how much conviction do you have and how much conviction does the lenders have that you're going to hit the numbers where it makes sense to take on that much leverage?
Okay. What situations have you seen where they said, yeah, we're not moving forward with this. You're not going to make it.
I think the typical thing that we see is, when they underwrite it and it just doesn't make sense from a cash flow standpoint, when there's sometimes we'll see borrowers try to put too much leverage on a deal. Mm-hmm. If that's the case and the underwriting doesn't support it, it's tough to get conviction. If you think about it from the lender's standpoint, the person doing that mezzanine loan, in the event of a default, the mezzanine loan is going to take that first loss. So before the senior lender takes a loss, the mezzanine loan is going to get wiped out. So if you think about it kind of as a stack, your common equity is going to get wiped out first. That's the piece that's at most risk. The second piece that's at most risk is going to be that mezzanine loan, and then the senior lender below that. So because it's at a riskier point in the capital stack, there's obviously A, more risk there, and B, that translates to a higher cost of capital. So if you look at for mezzanine money today, and just to throw ballpark ranges out there, obviously every deal's different. On the low end, you're probably starting at like a 12% rate for mezzanine financing. Mm-hmm. On the high end, that can get as high as 18%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a Credit One bank.
Yeah,
it sounds like credit card rates.
Yeah, but in fairness to the mezzanine lenders, they're taking on a lot of risk, right? Because you're going high leverage in the capital stack, and they take first loss.
Well, what type of loans have you seen move forward where they said, okay, you know what, I think we can make this work?
So the type of loans that we see move forward, I'd say starting off, the most common one is probably going to be on construction lending, where you've got guys looking for non-recourse financing on construction, looking to get what we consider kind of in that stretch senior territory or higher leverage, so maybe 75% leverage. And then the most common thread we see is we'll have a bank doing non-recourse financing and call it 50% leverage. And then while the mezzanine lender come in and take that tranche that gets them up to 25 or 75, 80% in that piece of the stack. That's probably the most common. Another situation that we see commonly is, distressed deals where, maybe construction ramp up's taking longer than expected. They had overruns on PIP costs, things like that, where we'll see mezzanine financing come in and kind of provide that extra capital they need to execute the business plan.
Nice. Is that something that you'll recommend, or would you look at all additional avenues before you choose that type of financing?
I think there's always a different solution for a different deal. I don't think there's one right answer. Mezzanine is definitely not a blanket product that makes sense for, a lot of scenarios. But I think for the right deal, when you need that leverage, and in some cases, as expensive as mezzanine could be, it could be cheaper than the cost of your equity if you're bringing specific types of equity into your deals. But I think more so than that, it's, every deal, part of the fun of what I do is you got to create the right capital stack that matches that deal. So the first question always with mezzanine is, does the deal really support that leverage? And how much risk are you taking by getting that high in the stack? If it does, you have the conviction that it does. The next question to me is mezzanine the right answer? If we're doing a construction loan, it might be mezzanine could be the right answer. Maybe it's debt fund execution with PACE in the stack. Maybe it's just a stretch senior debt fund deal, so you're only dealing with one lender versus two. There's so many different scenarios to get to that higher leverage point. And mezzanine's one of the paths you could take to get there.
Nice. So how can everybody get in touch with you?
Yep, reach out. Email's the best way. Email address is very simple, ryan@arevacapital.com if you have any questions. And the one thing I'll add, if you're looking at a deal, thinking about doing mezzanine financing, whether it's me, someone else in capital advisory, strongly suggest reach out to someone like us and really walk through the deal and figure out what is the right structure and what's the right amount of leverage and what's the best path to get there.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us for another episode. This is Bruce Jordan of Michael Jordan Hotels, signing out.
Hey, what's going on? It's Bruce Jordan, the hotel revenue expert. I just want to take a quick second to thank you for watching this video. If you could just do us a big favor and just subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more videos like this, more information, great information about hotels. I'm also the author of the Hotel Revenue Bible. You can get that book on hotelrevenuebible.com. And we are here to answer all your questions. So if you have any questions, just shoot us a quick text at 321-321-2002. That's 321-321-2002. And you can book a revenue call. Go to hotelrevenuecall.com and we can answer any and all your questions. Just make an appointment with me. You'll do one-on-one with me. You'll be able to do one-on-one with me, and we could go ahead and get all your questions answered and see if you have any revenue issues that needs to be resolved. Talk to you soon. Thank you again. Hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate you.